So here we're having a look at some simultaneous equations. This isn't in the normal form, so therefore we can't use stop for this particular simultaneous equation. Instead, what we're going to have to do is use substitution. So we actually know what x is in terms of y. And when we are using substitution, our aim is to get one equation so that it only has either x's or y's. So because I know that x is equal to y minus 2, that means that where I have x in the top equation, I can replace it with y minus 2 because they are equal, so therefore they are the same thing. Now then, so we have actually x times y in the top equation here equals 24. So we've now achieved one goal. We only have y's in our equation, but now we need to think about how are we going to solve this? Where are we going to go with this question? The starting point is to get rid of these brackets. Now remember, you need to expand the brackets by timesing everything on the outside by everything on the inside. So the first thing that we're going to do is y times by y, and that's going to give me y squared. And then y times by minus 2, which will give me minus 2y. And that is still equal to 24. Now what we have here is this beginning of a quadratic equation, but we know that we need to set quadratics equal to 0 before we can solve them. So therefore I need to take away 24 from both sides. So I end up with minus 24 on this side and then nothing on the other side. Now what we have then is something we need to factorise. So I need to find two numbers that times together to give me minus 24 and add together to give me 2. So we're going to have two sets of brackets, x in the front of both, two numbers that times together to give me minus 24, add together to give me minus 2, will be plus 4 and minus 6. Okay, so now we need to actually solve this. So I need to set each bracket equal to 0. So I'll get x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 6 equals 0. So something plus 4 equals nothing. Well, that must have been minus 4. And something take away 6 gives me nothing. Well, that must have been 6. Right, well, I've got part of the way through my question now. I know my x values. Well, remember, for simultaneous equations, you also need to find what the y value is. The easiest way to do that is to substitute it into one of the original equations. And out of the two original equations, I think the bottom one is a little bit easier. So the bottom one is actually x equals y minus 2. So what I'm going to do here then is put in the x values that I know. So for the first equation, I would get minus 4 equals y minus 2. And then in order to solve that, I would have to plus 2 to each side, which would get me y equals minus 2. So I now know the y coordinate for that one, which is minus 2. And now I can go ahead and do the second one. So the second one, this time the x coordinate was 6. So I'm going to replace x with 6 and I get y minus 2. And again, to solve that, I need to add 2 to both sides. So I get y equals 8. So I now know my y coordinate that goes with that is y equals 8. Okay, so there I have it, both my answers.